Today we're having a look at the 2023 New Zealand National Championships Men's Open Grand Final.
Oh, how about that? It's even better.
Count of the man, count of the hour.
That is sensational.
Okay, Men's Open Nationals Grand Final. We have Counties Manukau versus North Harbour Counties with the footy right now. A sweeper. Oh no, that wasn't the first try. It's like a barrel. Alright, let's have a look at this. That's an interesting one. It's very interesting that this is the first try, actually. Okay, so... Oh, he's actually... Let's just call that a touch. So it looks like he's setting up for a reverse quickie. Alright, reverse quickie means this guy's on the short side. So he goes corner. We've done a video on reverse quickie, so I'll explain more about that. It'll be out, if it's not out already, it'll be out very soon. He splits this way, okay, and he starts trying to just beat this guy for speed on the out because he's nice and tight covering this middles. Just in case this link gets off high, what they're going to do is they're going to rip the ball in behind to their link. It's not something you normally see on the first play. Whether or not this was... beating the defence because he overread the play or because everyone sort of stopped thinking that there was a no touch, I'm not sure. But normally that link would get up nice and high to jam this player who's splitting infield, and the ball just rockets behind them and he's running a nice outline. Okay, so I think that's called a barrel. I don't usually use that as a name. It's just a change up for... Well, that's interesting. It's just a change up for a reverse quickie. That's interesting. Let's just have a look at this. So we have it looked like a counties play. A counties play. I don't know whether they call it counties, but I just think it's funny that counties are running a counties. By that I mean it's that's a link and a middle, making the touch on the middle, and he splits in and straightens up to attack this middle. That's just what we call a county. It just looks like a quickie, but just done infield with a middle link. Play the ball. So he's running short, and he's picked a short hole. Great defense here. He's up nice and high. He's stopping that bullet pass because he can just intercept it, and he's in tight enough to make that touch. So great defense, and they've gone with the phase play, which means now this guy here has to then run out to his own link in front of him, and if the dummy half can get there quickly and pick up the ball and just rip it to their link before he can run there, that's what we call second phase play. Now what I say is interesting. This is a New Zealand game. They might have district or domestic rules that differ. If there's no dummy half to pick up this ball, the defensive line, if they're onside, can just move forward. Okay, they don't have to wait for the dummy half unless he's there to pick up the ball. And if you can touch the ball before the dummy half gets there, it's a turn of possession. So I'm not sure, judging by the fact that they stay there, either the refs said that the dummy half's there or the rules are different in New Zealand, not quite sure, but it's just very interesting. Okay, so let's see what happens here. It's a rooster or a 32 peel, sorry. I believe that's what it's called. And by 32, I mean middles are here 33. Middles are represented by the number 3. Links by the number 2. And wingers by the number 1. So if it's a 32 ruck, we call that a middle and link ruck. Or that New Zealand do. I'm not from New Zealand, so we just call it a middle link. But I think the number system actually is probably more black and white. It makes a lot more sense when you get your head around it. Okay, so made the touch. The fader has just fanned out to the short side. The middle is going to be running at that offside player while the dummy half gets around and straightens up into his hole outside the other middle who's off screen. And the idea we want to run at the offside player is because that's the easiest player to beat. However, because this guy's come in nice and tight, Counties might have done some homework on North Harbour, they do a quick release. Now a quick release is perfect when you have tight middles. Because now what it does is this link who was dummy half wrapping around is getting the ball at speed. You can see his body shape and body movements are already in a run, and this guy has to actually do a 180 against momentum and start the chase. Okay, because he's nice and tight, that's a perfect option, and you can see he just couldn't get his balance to chase. He's outrun. This guy has to make a decision. He comes in late, and he picks the right option. So a rooster or a 32 peel with a quick release, an excellent play if you've got tight middles. The other one, of course, is you just hit that runner on the out. Okay, let's have a look at the next try. So just running on the field, some middle. So Link's made the touch. Oh, perfect. Perfect. He's just taken the intercept, but I want to talk about this play. So a lot of Queensland teams actually do this. They've just subbed on the field, and they've obviously tried to do a middle or a 33 scoop. Okay, and this Link has decided to cut the field. Okay, and by cut the field, he's going to get up nice and high because he knows he's got all this space behind him, that if they do try to throw a pass over the top of him, he can just run them down. So he's confident in his own speed, and what he does, he wants to knock this play off. Okay, he's going to split in, he's going to take off, and it's going to be 4-on-4. Okay, and I'll show you why. The Link pulls corner, and he's got this Link, so he was actually no threat to come in anyway because the Link was too late getting on the field. Now all of a sudden, when he picks up, he's got 4 attackers with 4 defenders. So when you can get your Link up nice and high, you can go man on. And by man on, everyone just mans up to their own player. What to do in attack is exactly what the Counties have done here. When you are at man on, all you have to do is get everyone to shift momentum one way, and then you have someone on the late switch. So when you practice, if you can get a Link up high, and the Link's made the touch, all of a sudden your outside middle or your outside number, it's just an automatic read. You switch late and you switch deep. The reason you switch deep is because if someone's coming up to make the touch, we don't want them to be able to touch the ball carrier and you at the same time, because it just means that there's no point in being 2 players if they can touch both of you. And that's what they do here. They run that late switch. This player who's gone man on has overread the play because he's got to go man on. So he's chased over this way, and all of a sudden they've countered the momentum back this way. He has to stop, turn and chase, which he can't do. 3-on-2, normally that would be the right option. I would have probably passed the same ball, but it was picked off. But again, when you go man on, run that late switch. Okay, it's very hard to see live because everything's happening so quick, but practice that as good as you can. If a Link's making the touch, that was a touch by the way on the intercept, that's why we're not talking about that. But yeah, if your Link can get up and make the touch, practice reacting to that with the late switch. Sweeper. So these are the type of tries that you expect to see. I'm not sure whether these two teams have already played each other, but these are the type of tries that I expect to see at the start of a game. Okay, so we've got the 2 middles here. Sweeping around. He's going to attack now, so the dumper is going to split this way. Dummy half's going to realign. And we're always attacking that offside player. Okay, offside player, the gap there is pretty short, which is good. The offside player is covering that short side to prevent a 3-on-2. This guy, he's probably left a little bit too big of a gap. Now he does close it fairly well. It's not the end of the gap, end of the world. He's closing it just good. He's just probably a little bit too late. Now that's milliseconds there. That's very close, but that's a good dive. And I think the best thing with that is when he got the ball, the distance between him and a player who's still offside was very minimal. So we've got a little ninja play. I just have to see that again. It's very hard to tell because of this angle. So they're the middles. Okay, reverse quickie. Okay, so we've got a video on open side and short side quickies out. This is a reverse quickie with a little ninja, which I think I do say in the video once. So we got the toucher pulling corner, and the reason we run a reverse quickie is the 2 middles are really tight. So if we run a short side quickie, our chances of probably getting through the line are small. So we run a reverse quickie, and this guy's going to pull corner, so he's gone, and we want to now get the other guys to go the other way. So we're basically parting the middle. It's very sandy. There's the inside. So now by the time he's realised the pass is off the deck, he's turned a little bit too late. This guy here, you can see that he's basically just going into full acceleration mode this way, and it just opens up that tiny little hole for the inside ball. What's very important here is this player throwing the inside ball, he has to be running laterally. He has to, because if he runs too straight, he just runs into him and he squares up and he can probably make both touch, and this guy can recover a lot better. So that's the only time I'll ever promote a lateral run, is if you want to throw that inside ball, if you're creating a hole in the middle. So a nice reverse quickie. with a little inside. Very nice try, that one. This is another angle of it. Oh, man, I didn't. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, nice. I'm not sure if that was a passive. That might have, it's just off camera, that's all. We'll just talk about it as if it's a middle, which is totally fine. A lot of people seem to forget that these type of moves are sometimes just as successful as your really elaborate moves. So we've got a middle. However, this time, wisely, they've sent up the middle to make a touch because they know that if that link goes up, they're probably going to be hit with a late switch. Whereas this time, dummy half can now run on that onside player, beat him, and play that 4-on-3. He's beaten now, he's still offside. Very tight here from this middle, which is good. The only thing is you've got a lot of room behind you, so you could probably absorb a little bit more, but it doesn't really matter. And everyone else is just running nice holes. This player will run a hole, Link will run a hole, Winger will keep the width, and it's just a nice choice of passes. Alright, so that Winger there, it's very easy to blame a Winger, and they cop a lot more blame than they need to. But if the Link's up that high, I think the Winger needs to as well, because if he's up high, a lot better chance to knock that play off. But just a nice simple 4-on-3 from a middle ruck or a 33 ruck. Hopefully my New Zealand terminology is good enough. Another sweeper with a quarterback. Nice. I like a good quarterback. So sweeper here, we've got middle in the ruck. Link coming around. Idea is to attack this player here. Now, the same reason we would run a reverse quickie is if we saw in the first sweeper try how he got the ball and he just dove between the middles. If that's become a threat and the teams have plugged that threat in defense by tightening up their middles a lot, we can run a quarterback. So the dummy half will pass to this player who is essentially the quarterback. Now you think of NFL, they snap to the quarterback who throws the ball back the other way. So he throws to this guy. Saving middle will be coming in to basically stop any tries scored in the middle. At the same time, the dummy half will then bounce out just to counter the momentum. You can see now that he's just sort of wrong-footed, really. There's no way he can then turn and chase someone who's already began their run. The Link has read this play really good, and he's got his best to jam it. And all he's done is basically forced not so much a panic pass, but a pass under pressure. And a pass under pressure is a lot more likely to go to ground. However, this one was really good. It's a nice little sweeper with a quarterback. Very, very good move to do on the run as well. Is that a sweeper? Sweeper with a phase. That's good. Another one we haven't really talked about much. Sweepers come around. Middle. Attacking this player here. Now it looked like they tried to run a quarterback. However, but he's just mishandled the ball a little bit. Just on his hip. However, when they do run it, the Link's up nice and high, which is what you should do. Okay? And this player here will play the ball straight away, which means he is now nowhere near his Link. So he's got to just turn and bust his ass. Excuse me. He's got to turn around and basically hightail it back to his Link while this guy comes in at dummy half, picks up the ball, and just rip passes it. As you can see there. And there it is. Winger's got to come in. He could have just passed to his own winner. But what the Link did good in defense is he tried to destroy the ruck. So he knew that the phase was coming. So he basically just gives him a push. Well, he might give away a penalty there. But that's probably easier to defend a fresh set than it is to defend that second phase. The other thing that you can do is if you can see the second phase coming, try to not make the touch. If they're in the 7 meters, you don't have to make the touch. Let your middle next to you recover. But again, easier said than done. Is this another sweeper? Nah, just a reverse quickie. Excuse a bit of a sniffles. Reverse quickie, I like it. Let's have a look at this. So both middles are up quite high. Now the higher the middles are, the more likely you can run either way. Now what he's done is he split open side. They're very tight. So running short side, you're probably not going to get any chances through the middle. But running open side, now he's got to turn and chase because that's how tight he is. And if he splits hard, he's got to then match that lateral movement. And because he's offside, he's still running back towards the line, and now everyone's running this way. And as soon as he moves and shapes for his run, off his left, and he counters that, and he counters back this way. So it becomes a reverse quickie into everyone just running holes. And he picks the option. The wingers, they've done pretty well in defence here. The link's got up nice and high to stop that bullet pass going straight to the link, which means the winger in defence can stay out on his winger. However, this middle, his momentum, he needs to basically chase out the back. I know it's very hard to do. That's really your only option, because otherwise that happens. Nice try. Reverse quickie long ball. It's just not something you see a lot. What do we got here? I think this is just unlucky. Yeah. 15 seconds left in the half. I don't know if there's much we can talk about here. It's just, once you're up and you've committed to making the touch, just make the touch. But there's no need to be pulling out there. Okay. The middles are there. Okay, so this link has got this link. You're not under any threat here, so just make the touch. If you start rolling back, that's just what might happen. Because I can guarantee the person with the ball knows when they're going to accelerate a long time before the defender knows. And that makes all the difference. So we're in half two now, 5-4, so a pretty close game. Nice, another sweeper. So we talk about this sweeper again. We're attacking this side. This time it's not a quarterback. Well, not really. He does pass the ball quite early, but this time he rips it to the link just before this guy can get up. Now, when you think about it, if I was this link and I saw these two players just together like that, I probably wouldn't come in at all, because this guy can touch them both at the same time. That's why it's always important for this dummy half to pass and realign. That realignment is so important, okay, because it makes you attack with 6 players. Right there, the way they are, you may as well attack with 5. They're the same person. So the links come in, which is probably what their policy is, but a nice pass, open up the hole. We got this is standard again with the link hole. Standard fade or a 32 scoop. This is your link. Obviously, he throws left to right, so we want to get that ball dumped on this player. The middle then fades out. So that's the time where they split outwards, because that's where the link used to be. Swap places, let the link run at that offside player. The offside player, as per policy, pulls corner. The link actually throws an early pass because they know that these links are actually getting up nice and high. So he throws the ball fairly early just to get that ball passed in before he can intercept it. Very nice hole run here. And I think the defensive link wishes he was just that tad higher in the play. And if you're worried about if you find yourself not getting higher, it just means you're not in a good position when the touch is being made. You need to be on the line, so as soon as they dump that ball, you're moving forward. There's another one here. Out ball. Okay, so we've just gone from the dummy half running. And again, you never want to let any runners through the middle, like between the two middles. Okay, now, this is not tight. The time to run this play is when the middles are tight. It's like the rooster with the quick release that we saw at the start. If this middle was, say, here, that is the perfect time to run it. If they think that a rooster is coming, and all of a sudden you bounce out and you catch them off guard, perfect. Okay, but when they're this wide, I would have just ran into that space rather than throwing the out ball immediately. However, the fact that the out ball was brilliant, just got around him, okay? But there was no margin for error because the middles were wide enough, all right? All I could say here is if I was the defensive link, again, easier said from my computer screen, is just get higher off the line. We want to be high and we want to be moving forward, so that way you do make that touch at the last minute to save your middle. Okay? But a nice out ball. The pass itself was brilliant. And sit back with an ML. And I do speak about this in a video that we've got coming out called the ML versus the splitter. And this is the reason I think one of the cons for an ML is the two middles here. This is one of them's just made the touch. A link can get up high and fast while ever these two are so close together. So if he gets up, he can actually touch them both. And by him getting up and cutting the field, it means your middles can just retreat direct and go into man on a lot easier and then recover on the open side, which is what this link's done here. He's actually really good at getting up nice and high, this link. Now, if he misses that pass, he's close enough to this defender to make the touch. Like, he is more than close enough. Whereas this case, he's just stuck an arm out and he's picked the pass off. Okay, that is one of the really good ways to defend an ML. Get in a nice position on the line as the dump's being made, and get up nice and high as a link, because there's no threat outside you until that dummy half is wrapped around completely out of your reach of both players. So that's good practice. Don't know what he's doing here. Put the ball down. Now, there's just another view of it. You can see him get up nice and high. And if they do pass and you miss the ball, you're up there nice and high. They're nice and close to you anyway. They don't have a head start. You should be able to catch them. This is another rooster quick release. Okay, so we've got the two middles here. They've just run the rooster. He's moving forward. Okay, but as he's just started to move forward, he's giving the ball to number 3, who's already on that diagonal path. Whereas this guy here has to turn and start his run from scratch. Okay, so the rooster quick release is really good. This link here needs to be a lot higher. He already needs to be up here. So as soon as they throw that quick release, he can come in and make the touch because he can't throw the ball through the link. So it's something that I do say a lot is make sure we're up nice and high off the line, especially our links. Okay, you're going to get in the way of so many good plays by just getting high off the line. So this is something we see in not so much elite games anymore, is the dummy half completely running through. And the best way to stop this, the best way to get this is if you have two middles making the touch, then all this vacant space behind them, you can get there first from dummy half. They've got to run backwards. If they turn around and run forwards, then you can step them because they're not looking at you. Okay, so that's why we just don't want two middles in the touch. Two middles especially. Two middles in the touch is just a big no, because you're just setting yourself up for that. Both middles actually thought that they were the short side then, and they both pulled corner, and he just ran up the guts. Okay, so one middle get up nice and strong. If they start messing around with the footy, all right, you can either roll back into the 7 and then set yourself again, or you can get a link up and help the middle, or your other middle can just come up one at a time, but never together. Okay, sometimes it may happen. Teams are really good with the footy and they can get both middles if they want to. Sometimes it's inevitable, but you need to do, to be honest, they could have done better than that. To be overly critical, I'm sure they agree as well. Another sweeper. Okay. What's that camera angle? This is a good one. The strike rate of this play is actually really high, and it's not done very much. So it's a normal sweeper, but they had to sort of ad-lib here. So normally every single sweeper we've seen, this guy has pulled a really hard corner because he's chasing this guy here. And when he pulls a hard corner, it means this middle has to cover. I just want to make sure that they're running a regular sweeper and not a Cindy here. My apologies, they're running a Cindy. Okay, so a sweeper here is actually a middle sweeper. This is the link dumping the ball. Okay, what I was saying, let's just say that was a link sweeping around. You then just, basically you're just running this way while the saving middle comes in, and it's seen a fair bit. You're just basically running against momentum. However, in this case, it's the middle that's swept around, which means if they sweep around and you get the ball off them, they're just going to run into their defender. And now it becomes like a 4-on-3. Okay, this defender here, that's probably why he wasn't pulling a hard corner, because he knew that the sweeper was running into numbers. But now he's also almost been tricked into pulling open side. So Cindy, some call it an outlaw or just a middle sweep. Because he's gone open side, he's still offside, and he gets cracked short side. So if you want to give the middle sweeper the ball, you make the dump on the link. But if you want to take off from dummy half, give it to your link. He runs infield and dumps the ball on the middle. we got here? Reverse quickie again. Nice. And the best thing about this reverse quickie is what I want you to have a look when as soon as this player dumps the ball, I want you to watch his run between dumping the ball and then passing the ball again. He has to catch the ball, but his run never slows down. That's the sign of the best reverse quickie. Because you want to dump here, these two middles are obviously protecting each other, and then you want to just burn them for speed on the outside. If you don't burn them for speed, this guy's pulling corner this way, this guy will chase you, and then you can dive in the middle. Okay, but it all comes from down, trusting that this is going to be a good pass, continuing your run, and this pass actually, it's a difficult pass. It has to be out in front, and it has to be right at their hip or their belly button area. And that's a really good one. We do have a video that's just come out. Well, it came out at the start of July on short side and open side quickie that we break down that a lot more. But thanks for watching, guys. That was a ripper of a game. Always like watching some New Zealand footy, so hopefully get to watch some more of that in the future. Yeah, we'll have a new video out shortly. Thanks again. Bye.